Hello everyone, and today I'm going to be discussing the 2017 double homicides of Abigail Williams and Liberty German again. This content is for adults. Again, these are real people, real families, and anybody I'm discussing in this case is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Having said that, I'm going to get right to it because this is an interesting one. Okay, so is there any possibility that Delphi prosecutor Nicholas McClelland could potentially use the audio captured by Liberty German and Abigail Williams on their phone on the Monon High Bridge on February 13th, 2017 as evidence against Richard Allen? I wanted to know, so I did some digging. And what I found out was interesting. First of all, what we're referring to in the court of law anyway is called spectrography. And it's biometrics spectrography, and biometrics refers to the quantifiable data related to human characteristics and traits. They're used for identification purposes to identify human beings by their unique characteristics. And they use this type of analysis in DNA testing, fingerprinting, facial recognition, palm prints, iris recognition, and for this case, voice and speaker identification analysis. So, audio and biometric voice identification is already used by federal agencies, including the FBI, NSA, CIA. So, will the FBI and prosecutor McClelland try to introduce that audio at trial? And have they attempted to use biometrics and spectrography to match the voice heroically captured by Libby and Abby? Have they tried to match that to Richard Allen? And if not, are they going to? Let's take a further look at that here. In other states, I did some digging, and it said in State versus Williams, the Ohio Supreme Court, again, this is Ohio, neighboring them, addressed for the first time the issue of admissibility of voice analysis as an identification evidence. The court ruled that expert testimony and exhibits based on voice spectrography analysis are admissible if they are relevant and will assist the trier of fact. So I looked up Minnesota, they allow it there. It seems like just about everywhere I looked, they allow this sort of thing. So I looked up the Indiana Rules of Evidence. It's Indiana Rules of Court, Rules of Evidence, and you can go to www.in.gov/courts/rules/evidence and look for yourself. You go down to Rule 901, Authenticating or Identifying Evidence. Okay, now Rule 901, Authenticating or Identifying Evidence. In general, to satisfy the requirement of authenticating or identifying an item of evidence, the proponent must produce sufficient evidence to support a finding that the item is in fact what the proponent claims it is. So the burden of proof is going to be on prosecutor McClelland if he uses that to prove that that is in fact Richard Allen's voice through his expert testimony, witnesses, FBI voice spectrographers perhaps. And you further scroll down and it just gives different examples. It says the following are examples only, not a complete list of evidence that satisfies the requirement. And it's interesting because it's very vague here and open-ended. And it says 5, it would be Rule 901-5, opinion about a voice. An opinion identifying a person's voice, whether heard firsthand or through mechanical or electronic transmission, i.e. what Abby and Libby did, or recording based on hearing the voice at any time under circumstances that connect it with the alleged speaker. What if after all of this, it's Abby and Libby and their heroic recording that ends up being used as evidence against Richard Allen potentially? It gives me chills just to think about that possibility. That even 6 years later, 7 years later, whenever the trial ends up happening, that it may be those two girls' heroism, for all we know, that definitively links Richard Allen, who again is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Again, if that is introduced at trial, I do want to caution that I've read other case reports where in the past that sort of thing and doing that sort of thing and introducing that sort of evidence at trial is really, really frowned upon in some cases, because it seems like it can backfire on the prosecution sometimes, and that there's a lot of experts that don't believe that spectrography is an exact science. Now, again, we have to also remember that if he's just saying guys down the hill and that's all the audio they have to compare his voice to, is that enough? I don't know. That would be something that maybe the FBI could answer, or an FBI agent who specializes in this could answer. That would be a great question for the media to ask them. So again, let me know what you think. Is there any chance that Libby and Abby's audio could be used against Richard Allen here at trial? And boy, the prospect of them, even from the grave, rest their souls, having some sort of evidence there that maybe they can analyze. I don't know. Hopefully the FBI and law enforcement has looked into this possibility, and maybe that's something that's a match too that we don't realize yet. So anyhow, thanks for watching my video. I didn't hear anybody talking about this sort of topic anywhere else, so I kind of wanted to make a video about it, and I hope it made you guys think. Thanks a bunch.